message I want to send to the government that they must stop taking us for fools, because okay, we seem like we are evil, but it's the government that put us in this position, because you cannot allow so much illegal immigrants. Out of 30,000, there was in the only allowance, there was in Durban, only 100 was documented. So how can you allow that? Government must take blame and must be arrested for allowing so much. And you know why they want to do this? They want to replace us while it's Pila. They should have just killed us.
The message remains the same. Anyone without documents and anyone without papers must go back home. Even my children, they have birth certificate. So no one must be in the country without papers.
Now, what began as coordinated anti-immigrant marches across Johannesburg, Durban, and Tshwane quickly descended into looting, chaos, and rubber bullets broadcast live for the world to see. Shops were stripped bare, homes targeted, and a delivery truck looted on camera. President Ramaphosa called for peace, but the call was futile. The federal government of Nigeria has now announced it will seek compensation from South Africa for businesses and properties abandoned by Nigerians who fled. But as South Africa counts the cost of yesterday's protest, the question the entire continent must answer is this: if Africa cannot protect its own people within its own borders, what exactly is the African Union for? And that's the question out there, Dr. Bati. Good morning. How are you this morning? Good morning, Ayo. How are you this morning? Good morning, Rufai. How are you this morning? All right. The whole crisis basically came down yesterday. It was a show of shame seeing South Africans going out to loot the shops of foreigners. But in another dramatic development from South Africa, the Nigerian husband of a prominent local government official has been taken into custody, accused of sheltering dozens of undocumented foreign nationals at his guest house. Eric Odili, husband of the Deputy Mayor of Mangaung, Lulama Titi Odili, was arrested after police discovered approximately 28 alleged undocumented foreign nationals at a property he allegedly owns. The arrest was confirmed by the South African politician Makwin Lethosa Mathai, who stated that the migrants had been hiding at the guest house for about 7 days, with some reportedly bringing them food during that period. Now, Odili is now in police custody, but the police are yet to announce formal charges, and this discovery has sent shockwaves to Nigerian communities in South Africa. We are even seeing politicians in South Africa actually even saying this is probably wrong. Why not? Let's try to hide these people in our guest house. Your thoughts? I know you wanted to, you said you weren't given enough time to talk about South Africa. Do you want to quickly touch on, these two comments that have raised the looting, and of course, we've seen this Nigerian man being arrested for trying to help foreign nationals?
Okay, we don't know the full details. The police in South Africa have not concluded their investigations, I imagine, with regard to Mr. Phil Odili, who was accused of, or allegedly had a guest house where they found 28 undocumented immigrants. These undocumented immigrants were told they are from Nigeria and Ethiopia, and there was a go-between giving them food. Many immigrants in South Africa have had to seek refuge wherever they can. Some in people's homes, some in the various embassies. And this Mr. Odili, is he a good Samaritan trying to help people? Because, unlike the South Africans, Nigerians are very large-hearted people. We are our brother's keeper. And if you see your brother in a difficult situation, it's only natural for most people to want to provide support and succor. However, in this case, we're told it's both Nigerians and Ethiopians. So the question is Mr. Odili doing it as a business and making profit from that? But the basic point is about the anxiety of the people, whether they are from Ethiopia or Nigeria or Malawi. Now, whatever is happening in South Africa stands condemned. The whole idea of African Union is for people to come together, Pan-Africanism, for the people to unite in the interest of Africa. South Africa has shown that, well, their country no longer believes in that particular ideal. Now, the Nigerian government has been able to bring home about 601 persons as at yesterday, and we were told originally that there are over 1,000 people there. What happens to the remaining persons who may still be under the climate of fear that governs the South African society today? Now, the other point I was making earlier on is again in response to what is happening with the violence yesterday, with some South Africans saying that they are baying for blood and that they are not afraid of blood. Whose blood? The blood of their African brothers?
Imagine that.
Now, the issue is, under international law, there is something called R2P, the responsibility to protect, which is binding on all states and which was one of the outcomes of a United Nations resolution. The South African government has a responsibility to protect everybody and to ensure that there is nothing like genocide, there is nothing like ethnic cleansing. It's a responsibility under international law. Now, in this particular case, I think that the South African government has failed in that regard, despite the fact that they called out the police yesterday. There was still violence affecting foreigners.
Yes.
The other leg of it, and the final one that I'll talk about, was what I started with in the morning, which is Ambassador Alex Ajayi, who is the acting High Commissioner in South Africa, saying that Nigeria is going to seek compensation for the Nigerians who have properties in Nigeria, whose right to possess, to own property has been violated. Now, the question here is, and I try to point that out, for those persons who are documented and legal migrants, because the protesters were not making any difference, that whether this Nigerian is here legally or not, those ones may have a case. But the ones that are there illegally, illegal migrants, they may well have to answer for the risks of their own choice. If you go into a country and you are illegal, okay, will the courts in South Africa then say the South African government should compensate you? Because you cannot be asking for legal rights based on the illegality of your own actions. So that's the gray area in that regard. But I guess Ambassador Ajayi has a responsibility to look out for Nigerians, wherever they may be, whether in South Africa or the ones that are still stranded in India.
Yes, really. I mean, the story continues. Like I said earlier, I thought it was a show of shame watching those stores being looted. I mean, Africa must unite.